had all inclusive parents of bisexual parents, trans women, trans men, all the parents we got in 6 months, and within 6 months we had the name also for the Swikar. Now I think Chitra can go ahead.
Okay. I'm, as they have mentioned, Chitra Palekar, and my daughter Shalmali is a lesbian. I mean, she identifies as a lesbian. And the only thing I want to say, because it's very different from all other parents, is that I accepted her in 1993, when many of you must be just kids. And since then, because I had accepted her immediately, I started, you know, reading a lot about it. All my knowledge, everything came from reading. I read a lot about parents' acceptance books, which she sent me when she went abroad, and lesbian daughters, and all sorts of books, you know. And I knew about PFLAG, but this was much before Swikar started. But what happened was that when I saw that abroad it was there, but in India, when I met uh, children, they said that they were not accepted, the majority of them. Wherever I went, I met only very few parents, and that too, most of them were of gay boys, you know, because they were more organized. And of course, my daughter wasn't around, she was abroad, but I'm the type who sort of gets into things. So I just get crashed into all events and everywhere. And when the children started telling me about their experiences, I mean, also gay persons also, I started thinking about this. It was a surprise, but why parents couldn't accept? And then slowly it dawned on me that yes, they have, working. I signed the parents' petition for the Supreme Court, in the Supreme Court against 377. I was one of the signatories, and also I gave talks and all that. But alone, it was really very difficult, and I kept feeling that I was running on the spot. And that's when Sridhar came around, and he told me that he was having this idea. I obviously jumped at it, and I said, I am there. You know, and then I became the founder member along with Aruna and Mangala, Padma. So many of us were there. Riyad's mother, Mrs. Wadia. Now, many of us, you know, I myself, I'm 73. So many of the original founder members are above 80 and all that. So they are not very active. And I'm the last active person, I think, from that age group. So, Aruna, whichever Aruna.
Yeah. Can you folks hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Yeah,
yes, we can.
I'm having some technical difficulties, so just wanted to make sure. So thank you to both of you for, you know, giving us that a brief look at like how the organization started. So I did want to actually ask if we could, at this point, have the other parents introduce themselves, because it would be really nice to like hear from all the other parents who are joining us today. That is Rakesh and Atul, and I believe there are a few more people, Nilakshi.
Nilakshi.
Yes. So if the three of you could actually briefly introduce yourself. Rakesh, why don't you go ahead?
Sure, okay. So I'm Rakesh Sharma, and I'm parent of Riya Sharma, MX Riya Sharma, and in fact I'm using her laptop, and therefore it shows the name MX Riya Sharma. So my preferred pronouns are he and him, and my child identifies as lesbian and gender fluid. She came out to me when me and Renu, my wife, when she was in her 11th standard, and for us, her acceptance was immediate. while she went on crying, so she, she had that insecurity in her mind that she may not be accepted. But to her surprise, we accepted her immediately, and in fact, had a party that night, with some home cooked delicacies which Renu cooked, and so that was the time she came out as lesbian. And I guess a couple of months later, she also told her that she identifies as gender fluid. We didn't know what gender fluid was at that point in time, because we only knew about there could be a girl and a boy. So she said that she at some times feels like a girl, at other times she feels like a boy. There are times when she feels like both, and there are times when she feels like none. So that's when we first got acquainted to what gender fluidity is. And after that, she had already participated in, I think, two Pride marches. And so the next Pride March, we participated along with her to basically to show her our solidarity. And so from there on, then there's been no turning back. And from Pride, we met such lovely parents like Chitra and Aruna and Padma. We became members of Svikar, went through the Prabal training program, empowerment program that was conducted by Humsafar Trust. And so that's about our journey. And my daughter Ria also has a partner, Sanjana. Sanjana identifies as pansexual. And so we feel fortunate that Ria has got a partner, because I think that's one very important. That feeling of loneliness is something which is in the community. So that's about it. And in fact, right now when I'm on this panel, my Sanjana has actually come to our house, and Ria and Sanjana are having a good time with our pet dog Leo in the other room. So over to Nilakshi and Atul.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rakesh. And just to let you know, because of my technical issues, I'm actually asking Tejinder Gill to take over with the questions, because apparently I'm breaking up a lot when I'm speaking. So Tejinder is going to be taking over in terms of asking questions after your introductions. So Nilakshi, please go ahead.
Thank you. I am, of course, the mother of a young, lovely girl who happens to be bisexual. She didn't quite come out to me. I had to pick up the hints when she was herself discovering her sexuality. So the journey was difficult for both of us, for all of us in the family. And then I do understand what many of you might be going through, because you might be parents staying back in India and your children are abroad, because my daughter went abroad when she was experiencing this journey of hers. And she was away from me for about 2 years, and that was a really agonizing period for both of us. She underwent a lot of changes, emotionally, and she was responding to her inner urges, which she was not still quite able to understand or come to grips with. So she was taking her own time. In the meantime, she felt very lonely. She didn't get any help. Counselors are not very forthcoming abroad in the UK where she was. So it took a long time, and there was a massive queue for counselors who were free and on board in the university where she was studying. So she couldn't do that. And when I said that, I could organize counseling for you from India, because I sensed that things were not quite right, she was not very forthcoming, because, children who are undergoing turmoil with their sexuality think that counselors mean something threatening. So probably this was what she was feeling. So there was a lot of trouble initially, for us from 2013 to 2015 and early 16 when she returned to India. We had a really, really difficult journey. In the meantime, I was myself going through counseling. My counselor was a very, very supportive person. She gave me things to read. She gave me things to understand. My elder daughter, is a doctor, and she gave me about parenting and how to go about that. So in all, I did get a lot of support, which is not very common among parents who have not shared their story with too many people. I didn't share it with too many people because I was myself not sure. My daughter was not telling me anything. So I could only tell my sister, and I could tell my counselor, and my husband and family, of course. So it was indeed very difficult. Some of you might be going through this challenge, but everything changed when Konika came back to India. Konika is my daughter. When she came back to India and started working in the Humsafar Trust and came in contact with Sridhar, and then we came in contact with Srikar, and I joined Srikar in 2017 in November. I think I attended the first meeting. That was the probably second or third meeting of Srikar, and since then, there has been no turning back, and we have come a long way since then. And I must say that the child has a lot to do with this. So Koninika's steadfastness, Koninika's patience with us, her letting us into her life, bringing her friends over, gradually, slowly acquainting us with the dimensions of being what she was, the various aspects of the community. She exposed us little by little to those, because we were not sure. We were not as forthcoming as Rakesh was, for example. We were not that open and forthcoming, and my husband was still dealing with his his understanding of this whole process. So it took a little time for us, but once we were on the way, we have never looked back, and now we have a wonderful relationship with Konika and her current partner. They have stayed with us during the lockdown, and we had the loveliest time. So now I feel that I have another daughter, and it is indeed a very good fortune to have been a part of, to be a part of this extended community, the family and the counselors group and the support groups, especially in India and also abroad. So many friends we have made. It has made the journey much easier. So thank you, Srikar. And though I'm utter Srikar, I'm saying thank you. And people like all of you who are here, who are so open and so supportive and so forthcoming about sharing your story, sharing your space, and sharing this enormous heart that you have with so much love and so much positivity. Yeah, so over to you, Atul.
Thank you, Nilakshi. Next, it's Atul. Please go ahead and introduce. Thank you.
Yeah, hi. This is Atul here. I'm a teacher. I teach physics for JEE and NEET aspirants. And I'm the proud father of a transgender woman. Her name is Varsha, and she's a BTech graduate. She's an engineer, a software engineer, and works in an MNC. And she works away from us, doesn't live with us here in Delhi. And in fact, ever since she came out, she has not spent much time at home, unfortunately for us. Now, we had a very interesting coming out. She was in her hostel and undergoing treatment for some very acute depression she was suffering from. Now, this treatment had been on for a while, and it was really not working. It was really not working, and it was after about 3 or 4 months of the continued treatment that she came out to us one day, and she had this very strange, behavior, we might say, that she was actually not communicating over voice calls or even video calls. She was comfortable only with the text messages, and we did not really understand as to why this was happening. But anyway, one fine morning, I was in the middle of a lecture, and there was this message from her saying that, will you accept me for whoever I am? And I was a little taken aback by the question as to what sort of question is this. But I of course, replied, and I told her that you are my child, and you are always going to be my child no matter what. So tell me what it is that is bugging you. And that's when she came out and said that I've always felt that I was in the wrong body. I was born, I was a girl always, but the male body that I was born with was not the right one for me. And that was how she came out. Now it was a bit of a shock for us because we never had an inkling. She never gave a hint. She hid herself so extremely well all throughout that neither I nor her mom ever got an inkling of her true identity. This coming out happened somewhere in her fifth semester, towards the end of the fifth semester, when she was still in her hostel. And the next message that we got after telling her that we of course accept you, a little later when her mother was free, she also replied to her telling her that we'll accept you no matter what. Later she told us that she was considering jumping out of her hostel window if we were to not accept her. So that's how scary that coming out was. But once the acceptance was made, it was still a difficult sort of coming to terms for us. It was a difficult coming to terms because we understood that being transgender came with its challenges. The initial education that we were provided on the subject were PFLAG documents that our daughter shared with us that got us started. And then we read and read and read over the internet and over a whole lot of other resources, eventually gaining a little bit of insight. But since we were in Delhi, we were not in contact with anyone in Swikar initially for about maybe 6 to 8 months. And then once we came to know about Swikar, it was through a newspaper article in the Times of India. We came to know that such a support group exists. And we were desperately in need for one. We applied and we were accepted into the group. And once in, we realized there are so many parents who are, who are happy to accept their children and are they are actually helping their kids have a happy, positive life. And kids very similar to our daughter who are on the LGBT spectrum. And being part of the group has been a life-changing experience ever since, because what happened here was that we found a safe space where we could share our concerns. We just not just share the concerns, but also hear others. And the conversations we have on the group, they're absolutely lovely sometimes. And it's been an education just being part of the group. So that's been our journey so far. Our daughter is transitioning, and she works in a different city, and this lockdown has had us stay away from us for 6 months now. We haven't met, but we of course stay in touch, and we're talking on a regular basis. And hopefully in the coming months and maybe a year or so, we'll be able to help her out undergo her transition completely to her satisfaction, and hopefully lead a more happy and more positive life ahead. So that's my story. That's the story of my family. And another thing that I will always want to add whenever I tell my story is my younger daughter, who is in class 12 currently. In fact, she has just graduated school. She has been our pillar of support. And what an amazing child she is, because from day one, when we were really distraught, she was the one who took care of us. So kudos to Mishti, we call her. So she's a lovely kid, and she deserves the accolades for having taken care of us when we were emotionally in a very, very disturbed state. So that's it for from my side, my story. Over to you, Tejinder.
Thank you so much, Atul. That was great. And we really sincerely appreciate each and every one of you sharing this, because it just helps so many people. And I myself am a parent, and I have a younger child who came out trans at about age 14, 15. And he's at such good place because I am just gifted with that love and support from my child as a mom, as a facilitator in his life. So thank you so much for introducing yourselves.
I think Aruna and I were told to talk about how Swikar was founded, and we hardly gave our stories. Like they are quite two different things, you know.
Sure.
So I think we should, I mean, I'd love to tell my story in brief at least. And I think Aruna would also like to say what I wanted to point out.
Yes, yes. So please, do you want to start or?
Yeah, Chitra, go ahead.
Okay.
Chitra, go ahead. You can complete your story.
Okay, thank you.
As I said, I accepted my daughter in 1993. Why I emphasize that year was, that was the year when even Humsafar was not registered. There was no internet, there was nothing. But I accepted her. But more important thing is that she came very prepared, you know, like she had come with all the answers which she thought I might ask. She had just finished her graduation at that time. And of course I asked her because I wanted to be part of her entire life. And if she was a lesbian, then obviously that was also very important to me. And that's why I said, now you will have to train me. And like Atul said, the entire training, since there was no internet, I didn't know anyone, no parent, no child, nor did she. So it was all she telling me. She had read, she gave me books, and that's how the journey started. And I didn't have any problems, and everybody accepted her. Her friends, my friends, the entire family. So then why Swikar? This question has been asked to me. It is not because my child is accepted, so the whole thing is okay. Yes, she is accepted. Not only that, she has flowered like anything. She's an academic, very well-known academic, and she has a partner for the last 20 years, and she has given birth to an 8-year-old. I mean, now he's 8 years. She has an 8-year-old son, which she got by IVF. So I have a grandson, I have a daughter-in-law, I have a daughter, and it's a wonderful family. Of course, they stay in Australia. But the thing I want to point out is that she had prepared. She didn't know that she won't need it, but she had prepared. She was patient, and she gave me all the support. That's why accepting her was very, very, very easy for me as well as for everybody. And I keep telling this, that please don't be impatient, children, like, because your parents may be completely brought up in a different way, and understand that. And that's what I wanted to say. And ours is a very happy family. And so I wanted everyone else also to have the same experience. I wanted every child to be accepted. And that's why I jumped into this advocacy and Swikar. That's what I mean.
Thank you so much, Chitra. That's beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. And over to Aruna.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Thank you very much. My son, when he wanted to come out, Before that, he came out to all his friends except his parents. He came out to all his friends and his cousins and everybody, you know. So he gathered that support from all others before he could come out. And when he came out, he was only 17-year-old. And then he never told me directly. His friends started telling me story about someone else to check what would be my reaction. So they started telling that someone is gay, some boy, and parents are not accepting, thrown him out of the house and all that. So my reaction was, oh, for that, just being gay, I did not know what is gay. So when I asked, he told me in simple words like what is gay. And then my reaction was, oh, so what, if he's gay and parents are throwing out, how can it be? So they found out that okay, my reaction is cool. And then after that, within a week, my son planned of coming out. And because they had already mentioned, so he thought that I already know about it, what he wants to say. It took more than 2 hours for him, you know. He couldn't actually say that what it is. And he started crying and not saying anything. And I was wondering, why is it he's taking so long? Because otherwise we share everything in the life, about me, about him, and everything. So then finally I thought, like, I started thinking maybe it's recently I came to know about this thing. So I only asked him, are you also gay? So he just got up and he hugged me and he said, I mean, he asked me, are you ashamed of it? Do you still love me? Do you hate me? And all those questions. I said, oh, this was it. So I said, nothing at all. In fact, now I love you even more. And he had mentioned that there's section 377 and all that. So and being gay is crime. I mean, it's called criminal. So I said, now I want to see that who calls you criminal, because being gay is criminal and actual criminals are roaming around. So how can it be? So and then we went along with his friends. We went for dinner. So that is how it started. And so he came at the age of like very early. So I'm happy for it, because you know that whatever turmoil when he was going through, you know, that struggle he was going through, that went off early, you know, from him. So that's why I'm really happy for him. That is what I wanted to share. Over to you, Tejinder.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. You guys are all amazing.